Welcome back. We are at the tail end of the show. We take a look at what we've been saying on Twitter at Citizen TV Kenya, as well as on SMS line 22422. We begin with who? The hashtag to use is Debrick. Bing Charlie, you're saying that Embrace in Garissa raises critical questions ahead of 2022 general election. Why would someone or people sponsor hooligans to disrupt a peace rally? Why are there two opposing women groupings associated with the handshake and Tanga Tanga?
Still use the hashtag Daybreak. Maingi, you say this handshake brought political confusion in the country. Even the politicians don't understand where they belong.
Is it convenience confusion or just created? Gumba Steve, women legislators have decided to emulate the divisive politics in their cocoons, blaming and publicly showing who sponsors their movements. Embrace and Inua Mama should disband and preach one force unity. Sounds unfortunate. Is that possible?
Jim, good morning. You say if Embrace claims they have stand together or that they can stand together even outside the handshake, why was it not there before the handshake?
And Bob Otieno says that Gaito is right. Where were all these women before handshake? Sycophants period. There is nothing new they are telling us. Same songs January to January. Also, BBI has become a total failure, changing tunes from referendum to constitutional amendments. This is why they fear Punguza Mizigo Bill 2019, which embraces and caters for Wanjiku. I believe that a referendum is to facilitate constitutional amendments.
Hilary, you say the Embrace movement outfit is a political outfit. They are never genuine but trying to fight an individual against others. Why are they, okay, I think you meant to say, why do they seem to support President Uhuru Kenyatta Raila while isolating DP William? The DP William should be respected as well. I don't believe they are for peace.
Okay, that's as far as Twitter is concerned. We take a look at some
still on Twitter.
More feedback. This is, thank God, Njugush. Both Embrace Kenya and Inua Mama are competing. Which group will give much to the community? And honestly, at the end of the day, Mwananchi wa Kawaida is getting a lot of benefit and knows where to vote. Let them continue. You continue to say, Ugatuzi initiative, which proposes constitutional amendments that cater for their greedy future that is after 2022. This referendum debate is no longer about Kenyans and their future, but about 2022 elections and serving individual interests. So those are the views of Kenyans that they don't feel represented in the conversations going on. Sam,
you say politics is unforgiving arena that forgets the losers and rewards the winners. Women participation in national politics is both laudable and commendable. They adjure and implore them to loudly rise up. Okay, it's a different tweet. Oh,
it's a lot today. Kiptarus Kipruto, you say it's time we start listening to our women leaders in Kenya. A mother will always speak sense in every home.
Beautiful. Let's now head over to our SMS line. 22422 is our SMS line if the Twitter characters are never enough for you. John, you're watching from Kiambu. You actually say, I am a senior citizen for that matter. I wish to let the politicians know that as they jostle for political relevance, the ground does not resonate with them. And they're poised for a major political backlash.
Okay, that's John from Kiambu, where Gathoni Wamuchomba comes from. You don't leave your name. Politics is part of life. Women have equal measures to involve themselves in politics. The difference between politicians is when they deliver what they have promised during campaigns.
Okay.
That's what makes the difference. So it's so much feedback coming through. And of course, some of them feeling that the conversation, the national conversation is not for them, it's not about them, but the politicians. I just want to take your final views and also allow Wamuchomba to give her share about senior citizens that
I'm glad there's one
from Kiambu is talking
commented.
about. But we'll begin with you, Senator.
My final comments for today. Well, Kenyans need to understand, number one, that there's the president and the former prime minister have a good agenda for them. And we have to fight corruption. Corruption is the one thing that has its bearing, we can see the effects of it. I'm in business and I can tell you right now, a lot of small businesses are suffering. Kenyans are suffering. When you see the clip we saw about the schools, one second, let me just first finish my train of thought. When you see Kenyans at pressure saying, oh, we don't want to take our children too far, in the morning, when you're driving to work, if you see the hordes of Kenyans that walk to work, these are Kenyans who walk, they drop their children and they continue walking to their place of work, whether industrial area or somewhere else. Kenyans are walking to work. We don't know where the money is. As much as we are told that the economy has expanded, I can tell you there's no money in Kenyans' pockets. So any effort to fight corruption, Any effort to bring inclusivity has to be supported. And that has been the agenda of the president. It has been the agenda of the handshake. I am for it. I'm asking Kenyans for patience. Let us wait for the BBI report. There has nothing been said about BBI. It's speculation. It's media speculation. Nothing has come out yet. We are waiting for the report.
Well, today's
so
October
let us
1st.
be
But
patient.
it's good speculation because
Yes.
you know what you presented before the panel. Honorable Wanga, your final views.
Well, what I'd like to say is from seeing the comments, I think Kenyans must begin to associate political stability in their own, day-to-day success. Because without political stability and without these issues that have been causing instability addressed, including divisive elections, including corruption, including the issues of our shared prosperity and equity for every Kenyan, then they would not succeed in their own small area. So even as we advance these issues, they should not see it as issues just for the leaders. The leaders advance these issues on behalf of the people who elect them. So I want to just say that even as we advance these issues, we advance them so that we create an environment, a stable political environment in which our economy can thrive. And maybe you do not see the results now, but for example, I mean, right now in Homa Bay, there are things, or in the Greater Nyanza region, for example, that we represent, there are things we will be able to point out as results of this political stability that we are enjoying currently that we did not have before.
Okay.
It doesn't come in a day, but with patience, it's going to happen. And even as we walk and say, stop the politics, let's do the work, it is for the sake of the Kenyan people. So we want them to understand it in that manner. And as Embrace, we will continue to engage in the agenda for peace and stability.
Okay.
We will continue to engage in our quest to stop early campaigns. We will continue to engage, and we will continue to speak to them to understand.
What's more successful, a campaign to stop or campaigning for what you believe in?
We campaign for what we believe in, but at the same time, we must speak on that matter of kazi kwanza, siasa baadaye, so that even Kenyans...
kazi na siasa at the same time?
No, it's very disruptive.
Okay, all right. Honorable Wamuchomba, you have the final word, and tell me that viewer who is proposing that embraces Inua, is it a possibility even as you give us your closing remarks?
Oh yes, it is. By the way, sometimes we find we look like we are ever fighting, the abrasiveness you see on the screens, on the rallies, but when it gets to the National Assembly, we are sisters and we talk one.
Okay.
I'm sure you saw when we had one of our sisters to support when she came in with the baby. Did you know who was Inua and who was Embrace? The other day you saw us going to the CS in charge of education. Yeah, tulichukua mtoto sisi wote. Tuliinua mtoto sisi wote. The other day you saw us going to see the CS in charge of education, Bwana Magoha, concerning the sanitary towel issues. You remember there is a child who lost, we lost a child in
the 14-year-old girl who harmed herself
because of a lack of sanitary towels. And when the women went to see the CS in charge of education concerning that matter, we went, all of us. It didn't matter whether you are Inua or Embrace. So these are, I always say politics is like drama. You know the drama festivals when you used to act as a...
At the expense of the citizens?
Sometimes yes. Sometimes yes.
What does that mean?
Unfortunate. It is unfortunate, but sometimes yes. Because that's the only way you can package information for people to disseminate.
No, did you just say that?
Please call me another day and then I will tell you why I have said that. But today is a special day for the elderly persons of the society. Today is the 1st of October, 2019. Every 1st of October, we celebrate the elderly, the senior citizens all over the world. In Kenya today, in every constituency, I'm sure there's something that is happening concerning the elderly persons. And as a registrator, as a lawmaker, I am making a law to protect the elderly, to dignify their lives, to make sure that we honor them for the energies and the input they put in the development of this country. So my bill is focusing on making sure that we dignify the elderly persons of the society.
There's also a bill in Parliament, if my memory serves me right, still on older people in terms of retirement, a conversation that we actually had on Daybreak last week. Would you also be able to touch on that quite quickly?
I guess that's my bill. It's called the Geriatric Bill 2019. I am trying to see whether I can be able to convince you Kenyans to allow the elderly persons of the society who have trained in critical areas of life to be given the opportunity to serve until they say no more.
Okay.
Because sometimes we invest so much on those critical areas. For example, a doctor. We invest so much to train a surgeon, for example. Only when he gets to 50, he's retiring. And at 55 or 50, that's when his career is actually peaking. Do you know what happens? This guy signs off from the public service. He goes next door, opens a clinic, and gives the best services.
Or goes to a private hospital.
Okay, so that is why you see, like in the health sector, public sector is thriving because they have the best services. Because these elderly ones, when they graduate, when they retire, they go and invest. Why not retain that person in the public service? I know this is against the spirit of creation of jobs for the young people, but I'm arguing on only critical services like health, security, and higher education. Higher education, I mean university level education. I'm also trying to see whether we can dignify the lives of the elderly citizens of this country. What do I mean by dignifying? Making sure that no elderly person will die out of hunger. Making sure that these elderly persons will not be mistreated, be raped, be discriminated against in their localities, because that is what is happening right now.
How does that complement the safety nets that we have of about 2,000 shillings every month for the elderly? The
2,000 shillings, 2,500 shillings, we call it the Inua Jamii cash transfer program. It is good. But unfortunately, because for me, I interact so much with the elderly in my county, in Kiambu County, because I have an initiative called Mama Care, which I used to visit the elderly in their homes.
Okay.
That 2,500 shillings, they use all the money in hospitals.
NHIF not working for them?
Yes, the NHIF is not working for them, and I'll tell you many reasons.
Okay.
Now, before I go to many reasons, I would want to say this: the elderly persons of the society in Kenya, health-wise, needs to be reconsidered. They need to be taken care of. And I'm actually asking whether it is possible through my bill to create special wards in every public hospital, especially level 4, 5, and 6. A special ward for the geriatric, for the elderly, a special nurse for the elderly, and a special doctor for the elderly. Because most of the time when you're admitted in a public hospital, you go to the wards, you will find female and male. Within the male, you will find a 13-year-old versus a 90-year-old. The food they eat is not the same. The doctors they need are not the same.
Okay.
We need specialized doctors for the elderly. The way you will ask an elderly to turn his back for an injection is not the same language you'll use for a 13-year-old boy.
Right.
So we need special nurses. We need special doctors. They are called geriatric doctors. Unfortunately, in Kenya, even in our own training institutions, universities and Kenya medical schools, we don't have geriatric medicine. And in other countries, like in Europe and US, there is a lot of geriatric medicine.
Okay.
So I'm actually proposing a bill that is going to dignify the elderly person's life, and not only dignifying them, but honoring them. I'm also requesting for priority service. When we go to the banks, let the elderly be the first one to be served. When we come up with our railway stations, let the elderly be the first one to be served. When they go to Huduma Center, let them get priority service. So I'm actually making it a law so that we can dignify their life.
Okay, all right, and we appreciate
so today I'm actually celebrating them.
Okay.
And I have a very big ceremony today in Tinganga. You know where Tinganga is?
In Kiambu.
Tinganga is in
She goes there
Kiambu.
often.
And I am so happy because I have so many goodies for them.
Okay.
When they come, they will dance with me, and they will eat lunch with me, and they will sleep very heavily today because I'm giving them very nice.
Honorable Wamuchomba will not charge you because it's a good cause.
I see that.
By the way,
but all the same,
Sam and Zinzi, if I can just let you know.
I'm sorry.
One sentence, I don't speak much.
Okay.
October is a very special month. So as when she's celebrating the old people today, we have our World Mental Health Day coming up in the 10th of October.
Yes.
Okay.
We have the International Day of the Girl Child coming up in the 11th of October as well. So this is a very special month. A lot of special things are likely to happen.
We hope that
so we hope that yourselves
will be together in celebrating that day.
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely.
So
These
thank you so much, Honorable Gladys Wanga from Homa Bay County, Gathoni Wamuchomba from Kiambu County, as well as Sylvia Kasanga, nominated senator, for making time for us on Daybreak. And thank you, wherever you're watching us from, for texting in your views as well as tweeting us. We appreciate your feedback, and we'll be sure to read some of it even in the later minutes of the show.